Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to have this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of the social media account. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, I did finish last week with 15 wins and 1 loss for a win rate of 93.75%. Definitely a good week, only having 1 loser, so meeting my goal of 85%. Plus for the week, month, I just have a 85% goal for overall week, month, year. And I did finish March with 88 wins and 14 losses for a win rate of 86.27%. So definitely a good month of March. Even though the first half of March or most of March, I took most of my losers were the first half an hour. So I've been waiting out the first half an hour, and that's been paying off pretty good for now. I will continue doing that until the morning fake outs stop. They just are really ridiculous lately. They've just been almost every morning you can count 2 fake outs, and they end up happening almost every single morning. It's kind of stupid. So to limit the risk and limit the exposure, it's just better off to stay out the first half an hour. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been seeing improvements since then. So like I said, that's just for now. Conditions evolve and change, and you need to evolve and change with them, or you just end up getting crushed. So that's part of trading. Trading is always evolving and changing. What works now may not work 6 months from now, or even tomorrow, or a year from now. And what doesn't work now could end up being very, very reliable. I've been trading for a long time. I've seen lots of changes, lots of things happen. So you just get to, like I said, change with them or get left behind. Now, pre-market traded his room. I said, remember there was only 4 trading days this week. Friday was Good Friday. April 3rd, SPY puts at a 408. Where is the 3rd? Right here. Okay, 408, which is right here. Pre-market low from, pre-market low is right here, but I can see Sunday's futures right here, right around the 408 area. So I round down. This is one where it did not fake out. So it did actually have some continuation. Rejected the 410 area a little bit, but I didn't take it. I waited until 1036 before I grabbed puts. I grabbed them right here. I'm not quite sure what happened at 1036. Probably news. This definitely looks like a news event. It pops up. And when I broke this 410 area, you could see, I could have got right here, but what I've been doing lately is when the market's been going up, if I get it right here, it keeps going up. I just wait for a better opportunity. I think down here was better. So once it got below the 410, I will say 410 area, that's where I grabbed the 4120 puts at 770. And they went from 770 to 23. So you get a nice, good play out of the gate. First play of the day, out of the gate. Then I took puts again at 102, which is right here. For some reason I got it right here. I probably should have waited to get it down here, but no, I got it here. And then I added more right up in here at VWAP. And so I got the 4110 puts at $9. I added more at 770. Make my new average 835, and a good thing I did average down right there because I dropped a little bit, just enough to get out, but it didn't go to low a day. So they went from 835 to 970, so they ended up working out a little bit. It didn't even need to average down, but I just decided to and take the chance that VWAP was going to end up holding. So, but it didn't break low a day, so when it came back up to VWAP, I took calls at 231, which is right here. Right when I crossed over to VWAP, I grabbed the 4110 calls at $5, and they went from $5 to $12. Then I took calls again at 344, which is right here. As you can see, it popped up. Whenever SPY is near high a day, it will either push more or will chop. So I pulled back a little bit, and then I grabbed calls right here. I grabbed the 41.20 calls at 510, and they went from 510 to 670 right there. So they were at the money at end of the day. So usually when a SPY is at the end of the day, the last 10, 15 minutes at higher day, it's either going to push to new higher day and rage, or it's going to chop. But you used to push all the time, but lately it's been kind of like pinning and chopping near higher day. It's like been something new it's been doing a lot. So yeah, I wasn't expecting a drop, and it just seems like anytime it gets near higher day, it's one of those two things. It's just you got to I'm just not sure which one of the two things it's going to do. I mean, it could do three. It could end up dropping, but I really favor when it's up near higher day at end of day, because I think it's going to push most of the time, but sometimes it just doesn't. But we got a little bit of a push, so got a little bit of a play, nothing spectacular. Then on, let's see, Tuesday. Traded in his room on Tuesday. I was just looking at the timestamps. SPY puts under 410.50, which is right here, and you can see the first 10-minute candle red, second one continuation. So we are having some continuation after the first 10-minute candle, which I usually like to play, but I've been sitting out. So I waited. I took calls at 10:01, which is right here, right when it broke higher day. I grabbed the 41.30 calls at 8.90, and they went from 8.90 to 10.40. Luckily, I got out because it dropped back down. Then I switched to puts at 10.19, which is right here, right when it broke lower day. I grabbed the 41.20 puts at 7.40, and they went from 7.40. I think I grabbed it right here under the 410.75 area. When it broke this area, that's where I grabbed the puts, and they went from 7.40 to 12.30 in that drop. Then it popped back up to VWAP, then it came back down. Then I grabbed puts again at 10.41, which is right here when it broke lower day. FU candle right here. You get these big red candles, and you get a 10-minute green candle, then you get I pretty much call it an FU candle, because what happens is you have these long exaggerated candles, and then they make it look like it's going to bounce a little bit. Then right when it puts in a green candle, gives the calls a little bit of hope, a little bit of thinking that the bottom's in. It just comes around and gives you a big middle finger, and that's why I call it the FU candle, because this is an FU candle when it does that, basically saying a big FU to calls, and we're going lower, and that's what happened. These FU setups happened all the time. I know it's more of a continuation setup, but I just call it an FU setup because of that, because it does give a little glimmer of hope, and you see it all the time, where you'll have big red candles and a green 10-minute candle. Now it has to print a 10-minute green candle. I made a video about these FU setups, and the next candle has to be red to make new lower day. Now the opposite ends up happening. You have big green candles or red candle, then you have a green candle for new higher day. So they happen all the time. So I took puts right here. I took the 41.15 puts at $8, and they went from $8 to $10 before it bounced right there. Sorry, my throat for some reason is very hoarse. I don't know why. Then I took calls at 11.45 right here. Now I see why I took it, but I probably shouldn't have, because once SPY picks a direction, it just keeps going. It keeps going and going and going. I shouldn't have tried to grab calls right here. This is my one mistake of the week. So I got the puts right there. I didn't want to grab more right here. There's more downside, but it is what it is. But right here, I tried to catch the bottom. Got a green candle, red candle, another green candle. Didn't make new lower day. Then it came up over this 409 area, and that's where I grabbed the calls. I grabbed the 4105 calls at 760. Then it dumped, and I dumped it. Then I switched to calls at 105, which is right here. I was a little more patient this time. We get a big engulfing green candle right here. Get the red, green engulfing, a couple smaller candles right here. Then once it broke over these candles over this 304.850 area, that's where I grabbed the 4100 calls at 630, and they went from 630 to 780 right there. So I got a good play right there. I just kind of had the right idea. Now this, if I held it from here, it did not go green. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think it went green. So I'm glad I stopped out and I grabbed closer to the money at a better play right here. So that definitely worked out. Now on Wednesday, now I had, let's see, traded his room. SPY puts on a 407.50, which is right here, just averaging down, lowering down to, you can see right the lower. I could have used pre-market low and just lowered it, which I did. I like to use the half dollars and or whole dollars to round down, and they just happened to be lower day from the previous day, so that ended up working out pretty good. So first 30 minutes I waited. Looked like a little, see, there was a fake out red candle, a little bit of a fake out, enough to get somebody in to fake him out. Then they popped it up here. I mean, you could have got a play on calls. They got faked out, so there's fake out number one, fake out number two, then the real play right here. So I grabbed puts at 10:04, which is right here. Right when this big red candle broke below a day, I grabbed the 40.85 puts at 710, and they went to $9. So I got that play. Then I reloaded at 10:28, which is right here. So when I got back up here, I reloaded. I think it was based on bad news. Remember what it was at that particular time. But yeah, I reloaded, got $8. Then went from $8 to $14.20 right there. So that ended up being a good play. Then I grabbed the 40.80 puts again at 12:06, which is right here. Came up to the 20 EMA, rejected, came back down. Once it broke below this 406.50 area, that's where I grabbed the puts. I grabbed the 40.80 puts at 690, and they went from 690 to 940 in that dump right there. And then I switched to calls at 234, which is right. No, I should have grabbed it right there. I could have grabbed it right here. I grabbed it 234 right here. Yeah. Come to VWAP, pull back down, then you see this body of the candles right here, the 407.40 area. Once it broke I got one here, one here, one here. So when it broke over this fourth time, that's where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 40.85 calls at 550, and they went from 550 to 810. So we got a nice little play out of that. So that worked out pretty good. Then on Thursday, the last play of the last day of the week, traded his room. SPY puts on a 406, which is, well, I guess it 406. I could have used 406. Oh, that's why, because right here when I was calling it, it was dropping, so I didn't want to call 406.50 because it's right there. I went with 406. It also being where it bounced from the previous day's low. Now, first 10-minute candle was red. I had some continuation, could have got a play out of that, ended up being a fake out and come back up, breaking higher day. I grabbed the calls right there, ended up being a fake out too, but once it broke higher day, 30-minute table, 30 minutes is up. I grabbed them at 10:05, and I grabbed the 40.85 calls at 710, and they went from 710 to 950, so that ended up being a nice play. Then it ended up coming down, so ended up being a fake out 1, 2, and then I took calls at 11:06, which is right here. It pulled back from that false breakout of higher day, and then when it bounced off, I tried to hold VWAP, but it went underneath it a little bit, but got bought up. When it came back up to the 407 area, I grabbed calls, grabbed the 40.85 calls at 650, and they went from 650 to 1650 if you held all the way through for 100% plus, a $10 move exactly, so that ended up being a good play. Then I took calls again at 110, which is right here. Got this exaggerated move. I didn't want to chase it here, but because we had a couple red candles right here, got a little bit of a pullback, and it went, once it broke above this 409 area, that's when I grabbed the 4100 calls at 730, and went from 730 to 870. So got a little bit of a play of that. I mean, I know that buying up here, calls up here is a lot worse than chasing here or here. But to me, I look at it from the point of view that you get all these green candles, no red candle pullbacks. I want to see the red candle pullbacks. I don't want to see, yeah, pull back a little bit here, but it's still green candle. Yeah, pull back here and here and here, but it's still finished green. And it went more green. There's too many green candles in a row. I kind of get sketched out, and I want to see a couple red candles, even if it's higher than back down here. I want to see some red candles. I want to see some like people throwing in the towel, giving up, some exhaustion or something, because this is where SPY likes to fool people. Is when it starts to look like it's tired and it's getting ready to pull back, they end up doing one more, big FU to the people that they're trying to call the top or call the bottom. That okay, it's starting to look like it's exhaustion. It's getting ready to pull back. Everybody's piling into puts. Then SPY's like, not so fast. Then they push it one more time. It happens all the time. You see it on so many days on the lower day and higher day, where if it's dropping a lot, they make it look like buyers are coming in, and people stop piling and calling and bottoms, and then they flush it down one more time. That's why every time I'm in the room, I'll say I want to see it pop one more time before I take the other side, because that almost happens almost all the time. It's pretty predictable, because right here you can see it right here. Let's make it look like that. The top is in. It's an exaggerated move. Top is in. People are piling in puts right here. It's starting to look good. Everyone's happy. Then boom, it goes back to higher day, and it just chops. So basically, this kind of day is a chase and chop kind of day. You either have to chase it and play the chop, or you just don't play at all. It's just SPY likes to have these ridiculous days when it does that on both sides, long and short, and you just gotta end up playing the sides. So that's just the way the market is. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you gotta adapt to the conditions and be a part of it, or get crushed and try to go against it. So you can't do that. So that's going to do it for the recap. I hope this has helped, and thanks for watching.